Good morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. All right, remember when I showed you the little magazine cover from Time that we each owe almost $43,000? Okay, and this is for every American man, woman, child to pay off the almost $14 trillion in debt. It's just to give some perspective. Well, let me give you a little more perspective on this. I mentioned to you Social Security liability, okay, future liability, $15 trillion, Medicare, $27 trillion, U.S. unfunded liabilities, $100 trillion. So again, to break that down, that's about $863,000 per taxpayer. Okay, obviously this is not sustainable, and none of us are going to be able to write that check too easily or very few anyway, for $863,000 if we were looking to meet those unfunded liabilities. What does an unfunded liability mean, by the way? Simply put, it's just like with pensions, it's just like with, as it is with Social Security, whether you're talking government pensions or private company pensions, they have to set aside a certain amount of money, right? I've made this promise. You get this money when you retire. Now, people are living longer, so when they first did those numbers and those calculations of how much they needed to set aside, they maybe didn't set enough aside because they didn't think people were going to live as long and be able to get that pension for as long. So that was one problem. People are living longer. So that means that's put pressure on the pensions. What else has happened? Oh yeah, we had a couple of financial crises in there. In fact, the average return on the U.S. stock market, if we look at it from 2000 through 2015, is somewhere south of less than 4% a year. Okay? Now, that's when we're looking at these same pension companies, these same people that are putting together the money, if you will, or managing the money, those trying to make sure they've got enough to meet those obligations, that they're setting aside enough, that they're putting enough money into it. So our corporations, we know, aren't doing. Our government entities are not doing it. We just talked about the big, huge deficit there with Social Security, even on the federal government side. So what is that? What's the other part? Well, they're saying, well, how much can I earn on that money? Right? If I'm putting money aside, well, they're doing projections based on earning 7 or 8%, 6 to 8% a year. And what I just said, it's the last 16 years, it's only been 4%. And the projections are over the next 10 years, the U.S. stock market, when you listen to BlackRock, the biggest money manager in the entire world, when you listen to people like John Bogle, the founder of Vanguard Funds, Dr. Robert Shiller of Yale, who won a Nobel Prize in 2013 in economics, and the Shiller Cape Index, when you look at all these things, and there are more examples of this, they're all projecting in that same range of about a 4% annualized return. You need to, if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get 8 to 10% on my money, you might want to adjust your expectations a little bit, okay? You're going to have to take a tremendous amount of risk and get very, very lucky if you hope to get those kind of returns. So here's the other part of this. What does all this mean again? When it comes to planning, it's understanding these things, okay? Because there are ways that you can still, whether good times or bad, that you can, if you're using the right strategies, you're going to win. And that's what we want to do, right? We want to win. We want to make sure that we can attain and maintain our standard of living and quality of life no matter how long we live. We don't want to have these government policies, these poor planning on the part of some of the people in charge of pension funds and other things that are going to create problems for us in our life. So we're going to, vote with you a little bit with your pocketbook there. Make sure you get people in that are going to change these policies, all right, so that we can get back on a better fiscal footing, but at the same time start in your own house and making sure that you've got a plan. So here's the other part. The Social Security system is now 32% underfunded. What that means is that they would have to increase our Social Security payroll taxes by 32%, about 4% for basically 2% per person on your payroll taxes would have to go up just to make up this deficit on that one side alone. So that's something there's something, right? If you're talking about taxes going up, had you even thought about the fact payroll taxes, what effect that would be? For those that make over $118,000 a year, which is the current cutoff where you no longer have to pay Social Security, they're probably going to raise that cap, if not eliminate a cap altogether, and have everybody paying in even more over their lifetime in terms of payroll taxes. Again, increase taxes. So what's another way that taxes can go up? As we saw with Social Security benefits, they're, based on how much money you make, whether you pay taxes on your Social Security benefits. If they did eliminate that 10% tax bracket, that means for every single person your taxes just went up almost $1,000. For every couple, is over $1,800, almost $2,000 a year increase in your taxes. All right, that's a pretty significant difference. All right, just because of that one increase, just that one change. Okay, so instead of getting the first 20,000, well, actually, let me rephrase that. The first 20,000 or 18,552, I think it is, that you would pay 10% tax, you would now pay 15% tax. So it wouldn't be a $2,000 increase, it would be a $1,000 increase. $500 for the single, $1,000 increase in taxes for every couple, just based on that one change alone. Okay, and that affects all households, right? No matter how much you make, your taxes are going to go up that amount, because that's the first 10%. So understanding the tax system, it's this. You get a standard deduction, all right, $6,300. For a married couple, that's $12,600. If you're over age 65, you get another little boost to that. So you could be up around $15,000 for your standard deduction. That's not itemizing, that's a whole different thing, and that's a more complicated. We'll bring Dr. Friday on to talk about itemizing. All right, but for the standard deduction, you're looking at about $15,000 for a married couple over age 65. Then add in your exemptions. That's another $4,050 each. Now you got $8,100, so you're about $23,000. That means the first $23,000 you make in income, zero tax. Okay, good news. All right. Now the next for a married couple, we'll stay with that scenario. The next $18,552 is taxed at 10%. So if you add that together, that means basically for about $40,000, that first $40,000 in income, you would only pay about $1,800 in tax, okay, which is about a 4% tax rate. Okay, now think in terms if they eliminate that and that goes up. There goes the taxes are going up. All right, and then there are other things they could do. What if they tighten up the brackets? What other things might they do to increase income taxes? If they here's another one, by the way, on your Medicare. You get Social Security. What are some of the deductions from it? Well, Medicare Part B is one of them. I've talked about Medicare many times on the show and how it works, right? Part A is hospitalization. That doesn't cost you anything as far as premium, but there are deductibles and co-insurance. Medicare Part B, you pay that premium each month, usually deducted from your Social Security payment, and you still have deductibles and co-insurance in addition to that. Part D, if you take it, prescription coverage, you have a premium for that, and again, deductibles and co-insurance. And then finally, you'll probably need, because of all those deductibles and co-insurance, you're going to need a Medicare supplement or Medicare gap policy, and you're going to have an additional premium for that. Now that's the standard or original Medicare, if you will. Now we also have Medicare Part C, which is your Medicare Advantage plan, and this is where you can kind of tie these things together and possibly save money. And your trade-off is, instead of being able to go to any doctor that takes Medicare, you're going to limit yourself to those in a particular PPO, preferred provider organization. Now for most of us, my group plan through work is a PPO. All right, through my business, the plan that I offer for myself, for my employees, is a PPO, preferred provider organization. Why? Because it keeps my premiums a lot lower, and it's still for, most every hospital, doctor, and everything that we go to is in that network. So it doesn't create any problems for us, and it saves in premium, which is helps me tremendously in managing those healthcare costs, which keep going up so much. So it's the same when it comes to Medicare. You can manage that as well. And with Medicare Advantage plans, you can also get dental and vision coverage, and you can get additional prescription coverage if you want, that you cannot get through standard Medicare. So this is something, again, when it comes to planning, understanding how these things work, real important part of your putting the puzzle together. It's this ways that you, every little bit, if you can save $100 here a month, $100, the next thing you know, you got, an extra $600 or $800 a month in income that you're keeping just through a combination of good planning and minimizing taxes and getting the most out of your investments. And then all of a sudden you've gone from maybe running out of money to never having to worry about money. Financial freedom is not about being wealthy. It's not about being rich, okay? We've seen, how many people have we seen, for sports stars and celebrities as examples in the news all the time, who've had tremendous millions, hundreds of millions of dollars even, and they're broke. Okay, they got nothing, all right? And you've heard it with people that win the lottery. How common is that they have all this money and the next thing you know, they've got no money. And in fact, even worse, they probably have huge debt and they owe the IRS money, and the IRS is on them as well. So it's not about being rich or wealthy. Financial freedom, okay, is about where you can, in fact, attain and maintain your standard of living and quality of life no matter how long you live. So it's not about wealth so much as it's about income, isn't it? It's about having enough income and being able to get enough income safely from our savings and our retirement investments to make sure we don't run out of money. This is the real key to financial freedom, all right? Now, one of the things that, again, you would like to be financially free, if you want to make sure, in fact, that you're going to be one of those that's able to attain and maintain your standard of living and quality of life, here's that offer again. For the first 10 callers to my office, 615-376-5325, a free retirement income analysis. What I'm talking about here is I'm going to do up a free, comprehensive financial plan, okay, for you. This isn't just a consultation. It's not just come in and we visit for a little bit and then I tell you about all the, hundreds of thousands of dollars it's going to cost to do this. No, this is going to be a free, comprehensive plan. I'm going to show you basically how to get yourself on the right foot, how to check in with where you're at today, all right? How to make sure that you're not going to, run out of money, how to make sure you get the most from your investments, how to reduce risk in your investments, how to get the most out of your Social Security benefits, how to minimize taxes on your retirement accounts and in general. Okay, all of that is part of the planning and more. We deal with estate planning, and I work in a team. If it's tax issues, I can bring Dr. Friday in. We can do joint meetings, and again, this is all at no cost to you. If we get into estate planning, I need to bring in an attorney like Russ Cook, who's been on the show many times. Russ will do that. He'll come in and give you a free consultation if you go through me. All right. If you call Russ's office directly and want to set up a consultation, I think he charges. I'm going to guess it's in the $300 to $400 an hour range, I believe, for him. So this is another way that you can save money. So again, first 10 callers, 615-376-5325. Jessica's standing by. She'll get your information, send you out a checklist of things to bring to your appointment with me, and a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. That was a lot. I'm going to take a breath, and I'm going to take a break. Join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.